believe we are live. Right, well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope it's nice and sunny where you are. My name is David Postlethwaite. I'm a system administrator for a finance company based in Copenhagen in Denmark. My principal role is looking after SQL Server databases, but I'm also now looking after things in the cloud, Azure administration, Power BI, and Fabric. And now I've been dragged kicking and screaming into using AI, that famous word that is now everywhere in the news. And today I have Gethin Ellis with me. Gethin,
Hello,
welcome.
David. Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about me. So my name is Gethin Ellis. I'm based in the UK. I run a Microsoft data platform consultancy and training business. I've been running that for about 20 years, and I've been working in the Microsoft data space since I left university about 25 years ago now.
Okay, and today you are publishing a book on AI. Is that
yes,
correct?
The book's called AI That Actually Works. If you want to buy it, if you happen to be on, I can see we got a couple of people in already. The QR code is in the top right-hand corner of this screen here, or it is for me anyway. It might look a little different for you. Feel free to give that a scan. It'll take you off to Amazon and you can buy the book. What I should have said was over the last few years, I've been quite heavily involved in helping organizations roll out AI across their business and help them get the most out of it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I've known you for 20 years. We've worked together in SQL Server. We've collaborated a lot with SQL and data stuff.
Yep.
How have you gone from being a SQL Server consultant, DBA, to suddenly dealing with AI?
So I think it's come along, running my own business and running my own consultancy. I've kind of had to track or have tracked the Microsoft ecosystem as it's evolved over the years. So, I've got quite heavily involved in Power BI when that came out, and then Microsoft Fabric came along, that came out too. And then these sort of large language models appear. And data science has always kind of been there in the background. Would never have called myself a data scientist in any way, shape or form. But then this new sort of the LLM sort of AI tools that we see today, the ChatGPTs, the Copilots and the Claudes and the Claudes of this world, when they come out, I kind of embraced those. Running my own business, it kind of made sense for me to try and be as efficient as I can in certain areas of running the business to save myself some time. So I got quite heavily involved, or I started to use it quite heavily myself as a user. And then, as you know, I do quite a lot of work for some quite large training organizations, and it was clear that there was a demand there for helping organizations learn more about how these tools work and how to get the most out of it. And that's how I've ended up. Involved in that space, and from there the books come off the back of it.
It's just an evolution of work like the rest of us are dealing with.
Because yes, exactly.
I sort of saw AI as a bit of this weird thing that just writes slop on YouTube and the like. I first decided to try giving it a go last Christmas Eve, actually. I was I saw all these news feeds on the internet, and it comes underneath, it says AI, ask why this is going on. And there was an article about the RAF on Christmas Eve afternoon had scrambled 2 fighter jets to look for a unidentified flying object coming from the North Pole with a big red light in front of it and a big pilot dressed in red. And it goes underneath, why is the RAF sending out a fighter jet? So I thought, come on AI, let's see what you can do. So I loaded up whatever it was, ChatGPT, and I said, why is the RAF scrambling 2 fighter jets to go towards the North Pole? And it just came back and went, well, I expect there's a Russian aeroplane flying close by and they want to take notice of it. And it's like, you idiot, it's Christmas Eve. You should have known it's Father Christmas. And when I mentioned that to you, you went, well, you didn't tell it the right information. And it's like, you should have told it was that it was Christmas Eve, that it was coming from the North Pole, and he had a red light. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, you're almost asking, I'm almost giving it the answer so it can give me the answer. But the
Yes.
point is, you've got to give it the right amount of information. That's what you're saying.
That's what the book's all about. It's all about constructing your ask of AI in a way that'll give you the most optimal answer.
Yeah. So that's where I have now gone. How do I ask it more questions? So if we move on with the slides, these are the themes we're going to look at. So why does AI fail so easily? We're watching, every company at the moment is going AI. We must use AI. Everyone's got
Well,
AI. We bought your licenses, but then people go, "Oh, this isn't doing anything."
yeah, if you read the news in this space, yes, it's not. Some people will not get any results from it. Let's just move this slide on. There's lots of talk in the news at the moment of people and there's been in the news a fair amount, people losing their jobs and being replaced by AI. And now you're seeing lots of things today where they're going, people are actually cheaper than the tokens, so it's not actually all that cost effective. But that's an aside. The rollout I've been working on. I guess I've been involved in quite a lot now over the last couple of years, and it could be Copilot, it could be ChatGPT, it could be, even in some cases Claude. The pattern doesn't change. Right? People buy licenses and they invest quite a lot of money in those licenses, and they may appoint champions, they may not. They may get training, they may not. And within 3 to 6 months, the usage data just shows people are just asking, the £30 a month AI tool, what the weather's like today and how do I get to Heathrow Airport Terminal 3 from my house type of questions. Right?
Yeah.
So the technology is not really the problem. The models, they can draft board-ready papers, they can reconcile a spreadsheet, but what they can't do is read minds, and they don't, actually know that it is necessarily know that it's Christmas Eve. That does change. That does change all the time, by the way. But when you ask it to summarize something, for example, they don't know who it's for. They don't know who they're summarizing it for. They don't know what context they need. And generally, they fail because people don't know how to ask it the right questions.
Right. So we need to be asking better questions or giving it more information, not just please summarize this email, which is always the classic that you see at the top of every email now. You need to say, we need to summarize this so that it can go to the CEO or the cleaner or whoever.
Yeah.
So we know what level, who we are that's writing it. So
who's it for? How long does it need to be? What tone should it have? What do I need to include? What should I leave out? Or if you give it all that information, right, you'll end up with like a 5 to 10 times better prompt, and you'll get much more from your output.
Yeah, because we find you put in one question and then it comes back with an answer, and you go, "That's not very good. I better add some more." And by the time you've done it, you've asked it 10 questions, which is 10 tokens at whatever price they are, and suddenly the cost of AI is like, this is ridiculous. So how can we improve on our prompts? Is there a framework? Hey, anyone think we practice this? What sort of frameworks can we use to improve our prompts?
Well, that's really what the book is all about. So as I've been helping organizations roll these things out, and as I've been learning this tool myself, I've kind of realized that you're a DBA, David, and you work with data, garbage in, garbage out. It's a very well rehearsed phrase that can be used for a lot of different scenarios, and it's very much true here. The quality you put in to AI directly impacts what you get out of it. Right now, if you're writing a prompt from scratch each and every time, it's hard work. It's tiring. It can wear you out. It's like, I want to do this again. I've got to start again. Whereas if you have a framework that you can use, it gives you a structure, right? So a structure people can easily remember, and then as they start typing, they go, okay, well, I need to specify the role, and I need to specify the task, and I need to specify the format, and then I can send that in, and I'll get a decent output back, right? So what these frameworks do, they get rid of the blank page. They allow you to start your prompt with kind of like a template. I do lots of consulting, and in my consultancy work for years and years and years, I've had template documents. If I'm doing a high-level design, an implementation plan, or whatever that may be, they'll have a set of documents that they will follow. So they have the same structure and they're consistent. And this is what frameworks can do This is what these frameworks can do and help you with when it comes to writing good prompts.
Okay, so should we have a look at what these frameworks are called? Is that yeah? So we've got.
There's several in the book. I'm just looking for my little thing here, right? So in the book, which is now blurring, there we go. And my blurry background, there he is. Right,
Yeah.
there's a fair few of them in there, but you can get away with about sort of, I guess, about 4 or 5, right? And I've got, I call them the core 5 in the book, right? But there's a wider library, and there's lots of them out there.
And did you invent these, or are they industry sort of standard frameworks?
I won't take credit for any of them. They've all evolved out of, I'd say, out of community initiatives. The CRIT one there, that context, role, interview, and task. It's a very good framework for critical thinking and helping you evaluate your own thought process. An author of a book called AI Leaders by Jeff Wood is credited with coming up with that particular framework. But these are kind of like the grey line, like BAB, for example, the before-after bridge. That's got its history in copywriting and advertising, and it just applies itself well here. So before, want to get here, and here's how we get there, and it shows people the path, right, and kind of the right way. And if you write a sort of BAB prompt for sales copy, for example, it usually does quite a good job of describing the problem, what you look like after, and then describing how to get there, and that leads people on that journey.
All right, so these are the ones that people would use, and your book can help explain some of these.
The book's got lots of real life use cases, mainly from me and my travels around the sort of circuit, but they can be used and applied anywhere, right? So RTF, that's kind of the quick one. Role, okay. I'm a SQL Server DBA. I need to take a backup of this database on this particular server. I'd like the transact SQL so I can run that straight away. Perhaps that's not a great example, but that would then give me what I need to.
Can you demonstrate any of these, how they work, or explain? I mean, we haven't got time to go through 5, but you said
all 5.
You said that some of them are more used than others.
Right. So a couple of things. Right. The one that's used the most is on this slide here is the RTF, right? Because it's a quick task. Right. So let me just. I'm using my friend Claude here. Right. So I'm going to go role.
Do you want to make that full screen so we can see it?
Format. Yeah, there we go. Make that a bit bigger.
Yeah.
All right. So role task format. I'm going to say you are a SQL Server DBA task. I want to take a full backup of my Stack Overflow database, and I want to write it to this UNC path. I'll just say this path. I'm just going to do C backups because we all put backups on the C drive.
Right, yeah, so, you taught me that one.
I would like the T-SQL to do this. All right, so nice and simple, nothing difficult. Send it through, and I didn't have to think about it. So it's kind of a question. What's the role? DBA, there's my backup statement to disk, overflow full. It's even give it a little date timestamp for me as well, turned on compression, and so on and so forth. Right? It gives me that output that I can then take and use. Now, I could have done that in Management Studio. I could have written it myself, but it's done it really quickly for me there.
So that's the RTF one, and that's the one that we're likely to use.
That's the one you probably use.
Screen so I can see it.
You'll probably use that one for the vast majority of tasks, but well, they all have their use, right? So something quick, RTF is good. Persuasive stuff. So I work for myself, David. I need to write marketing copy. I need to promote myself. BAB is very good for that. BAB. It's also what people call each other in Wolverhampton. You're all right, Bab. You're all right, Bab. So it always makes me laugh and chuckle. We've got CARE there, context, action, results, and example, which is good for describing something. It says faithfully, but describing something accurately. Crit is probably my favorite one if I need to think something through. I want it to be critical, not critical, but I want it to push back at me and challenge my thoughts and assumptions, so it doesn't just agree with everything I say, right? So that'll allow you to sort of think a problem through, and it'll ask you questions, and it'll generally give you a good response back. And then Rise there, role input, steps, and expectation, right, allows you to walk through something complicated in a particular sequence. So they all have their place.
All right. So I've come up with a fantastic script, prompt or whatever for doing something. Maybe I'm working in HR and I've written this fantastic script on how to write a nice Dear John letter to someone who's applying for a job. What do I do with it? How do I then start sharing that with other people? Is that another problem that we see? That
yeah. So
the good
in
old silo of people working and not sharing ideas.
Yes, and you can get silos like that, and that definitely doesn't help your maturity model, right? So in the book, we talk a little bit about this maturity model and what you can do to take yourself from sort of ad hoc and structured prompting through to something that's systematic and compounds over the life of the organization, right? So lots of organizations will roll out AI with or without a model of what good looks like, right? They track what's easy, the licenses they've deployed, the number of people logging in, number of people have completed training, and just hope that value follows it, right? But often it doesn't. So the maturity model here gives you different stages, right? And this is something that I've kind of made up. You've got that ad hoc. People use it when they remember to. They use it in their own way, right? The quality's all over the place. But some people will get good results and some people maybe not so much. Stage 2 is sort of structured. We've got some frameworks that we can use, right? People are seeing real productivity gains, but nothing is being shared. So you come up with a great prompt, right, and then you don't tell anybody else about it. It just sits in your bin. As we move to stage 3,
because I haven't written it down anyway.
Because you haven't written it down. Well, if you've got a good result from it, it'll be in your chat history, so you can always go back and find it. Right. So that'll be there for you. Then we get to the systemic sort of phase here. So we might have a shared prompt library where we can share resources and share prompts, and people can go and look these up. So if you're getting consistent results for a particular task and you're in a team of people, then it might be worth sharing that and making it available to everybody. Right, and that's where the prompt library would come in. Right, and that could be a governed asset that allows, people are coming in behind you. Oh, I need to do this and I need to use I to do it. Well, that's the prompt to use and ground it on this data.
And do you recommend any way of storing that? Is it SharePoint? Is it Access database?
Yeah, Access, Fox Pro, all the top of the range. All the top of the range ones, with anyone you like, really. I think it's what works best. You need to be able to search it a little bit, and you need to be able to rate it and give it a score. SharePoint lists work absolutely fine. You could even plumb it into, say, a Copilot Studio chatbot and go, okay, this is my prompt. Can you add that to my library for me? And then get the chatbot to search the library and pull out the right prompt either way.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, so that can work. That can work pretty well.
All right. Now you have an app, don't you, that can do some of this for you? Yes. I think that is worth, if you can bring it up.
Yeah, I just stick it. Can you see that on the screen there? So
explain this app that is available for people to use.
So the app is free. It's just gettinellis.app, right? And it'll take you to what is in effect my customer portal for my website here. But at the top here, you'll see craft a prompt, right? So this is just trying to help people use these frameworks in a way that works. Now you can do this in numerous different ways, and if you use Claude, right, and you're listening to this and you want to use this in Claude, I can give you my little skill that's in Claude that will do this for you as well, using your own Claude tools. But let's just say, I think the example we practiced yesterday was we were going to do some process and migration, and we were going to use.
So this actually lists the different frameworks as well.
It lists the different frameworks, right? So you say, what am I trying to do? Well, I'm trying to do a migration or process, right? A phase plan implementation. Then I can pick which one is best. I'll choose Crit here because it's my favorite. And then I can say, I need to migrate my Gethin 2023 SQL Server, which is SQL Server 2022, forgive the name, to SQL Server 2025. It's an AG, an availability group, right? Then I can hit generate. So
you're just
prompts.
putting in a very basic. That's the sort of thing.
That's the sort of thing people. That's the sort of thing people would put straight into the AI, and it'll give you It'll give you a result. It just
nonsense.
might not be the result that you're after.
Mm.
Right. So I'll let that craft my prompt for me, and I'll let that run. All right, and there you can see now it's given me a crit. So this is context, role, interview, and task. The interview bit here is the important bit. So I'm going to copy that, and I will come back down and put Claude on, and I'll open up a new chat, and I'm going to paste this in. All right, so it's saying the organization is planning an upgrade of an enterprise database environment. We're migrating SQL Server 22 instance as getting 2003 to 2025. The current architecture relies on availability groups for high availability and disaster recovery. We want a seamless transition, ensure absolute data integrity, maintain the AG topology, and so on. You're a senior database
Fantastic.
architect principal, right? So you've got
And
all
your
this. It gives you
your app has written that all for you based on that one
from that
line
one line. Yeah, from
of
that one line.
text,
All right.
which
It's
is
got
pretty
it's
cool,
got it's got
really.
the app does have a little bit of Gemini AI in the background, so and it's then going to go and apply the prompt framework to it, giving the right context
Hmm.
based off weeds plugged in. But
Well, that's
it
still
is
very
quite good
clever because I've written one line and you just produced 150 lines from that. That's
from
a
the
very
one line.
useful.
Because one of the arguments I did a talk in Poland earlier in May, and one of the sort of pushbacks I got is like, by the time I've written all that out, I could have just written the thing in the first place. And I said, that's fair, right? But if you do your one line and get the AI to generate the prompt to do the work, it
Yeah,
compounds and it goes
this is
faster.
an amazing app, and you've made it free for people to use.
It's free for people to use. You get 5 free goes a day. Right now, with the crit, it asks questions. So what's my RPO and RPO? What should we say for that? RPO, 30 minutes. To help if I could spell. So RPO, 30 minutes. RTO, I'll just make that up. I'll say 15. Question 2, two node AG. Question 3, it's on premises, VMware, Windows 2022. I'm going to say applications are using the listener. And then the 5th question, database count, I'm going to say there's 4, 5 databases, DBs to move. Right, and I can send that through. And it will now hopefully construct me a reasonable migration plan for my mission critical database.
Very, very clever. But does your app just work with technical stuff? Is it only SQL Server based, or can
You can
an
use it for
administrator at a school use it, or
I've seen people use it for lots of technical work because that's kind of my audience, I guess. I've seen people use it for strategy documents. My wife uses it for various different funding bids for her CIC.
okay,
It can
so
be used. It can be
it
used for
can be
just about
used for all
anything.
sorts of stuff. So it's more
Anything,
than
yeah.
just. Sorry, you haven't mentioned SQL Server. I don't understand. It can do that. So going with having this is brilliant. The book is obviously explains all those different models because you really need to understand those frameworks to know how to use them. That's all covered. There's more than those 5 frameworks, I gather. There are other
Yes.
best.
I think I've got about 16. I think is it 16, maybe 12 or 13 in the book. There's lots out there. These are the ones that I have found most useful as I've been rolling this out, and the crit one there, the critical thinking one, I find really handy.
Okay, so that looks really good. The app, I think the book, it certainly helped me. I've read majority of it. It's quite a long book, but I've certainly read a lot of it for you.
You try to tell me I haven't read it all, David?
I haven't read every single page, but I didn't need to know all 16 models. But try to understand those 5 models and how I would use them. As you say, you end up just using one of them or one or 2 of them because of the nature of your work. But this sort of thing, rolling it out into a business so that everyone can understand, how do you ask it, build up the frameworks, explain them. This is where businesses need to go, and that's what you're hoping this book can be used for.
I hope, yeah, exactly. I want people to be able to get better outputs, and then that'll turn into something much more measurable. Because when people ask, okay, well, we've got all these licenses, and everyone's got a license, and everyone's using it, but what's actually changed? What are we measuring? How much has it saved us? How much has it grown the top line or cut the bottom line, in terms of
Yeah,
outcomes? And activity is not
yeah.
an outcome. So
All right, that's very interesting. I'm not sure if there's any questions coming from the audience at all.
not seen any, David. No, but if they do have any,
No,
they're most
that's
welcome to ask.
yeah. They can contact you directly, I guess, if people are
Yeah,
interested in
if I
learning
think this is,
more or using you,
yeah,
employing you, I guess as well. Um,
we're available for consultancy as always. Yeah, so hit us up if you've got any. But LinkedIn's the best place to get me, or send me an email,
all right.
gethin@gethinellis.com. And
So the book again. Show us the book.
the book
This
again
is the
is
physical book.
the
He's lost
physical
it already.
book. There it is.
So there's a physical book. You can also download it as a
It's blurring it out. You can download it as a
yeah.
PDF. So on that gethinellis.app, you can buy it there and download it. You can get it on Kindle as well. It's available from today. It's already sold a few copies. Now, if you're one of the lucky ones, and you haven't asked me this question, David, if you're one of the lucky ones who bought it as I kind of released it at the start of the week, I made a bit of a mistake because the index was actually out of kilter. So if I go to page
You
8
can't
according
add
to
up. Is that what you're saying?
my index, it's not going to the right page I was intending. Yes, I can't add up. That is now fixed. But those copies will be once this is a bestseller on a New York Times bestseller. That'll be worth an absolute fortune. So do hold on
Of
to it if
course.
you've got your copies already.
Right. I think we've nearly done our half an hour. So is there anything else you want to say to
No,
us?
buy the book. Links are on the screen. Right now, the prompt framework tool is there. There's also if you go on the gethinellis.app, there's like a condensed version. There's like a short looks at the core five,
Yeah.
that you can go and get for free and download for free. So go and get that. Any questions, hit me up. But thank you all for listening.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. It's certainly helped me understand AI more than it's a useless thing because it doesn't understand anything. It's AI is not as intelligent as you think unless you give it the context.
Well, I've seen prompting. I've seen people argue that prompting removes the I from AI, and it always makes me chuckle.
Yeah, it's only going to give an answer if you give it
If you give it enough information.
So,
yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Gethin. I think that's been a very useful session, and I hope people have found it useful, whether you're listening online or whether you're listening to the recording. Any questions? gethinellis.com.
Yeah,
have a look
reach
at
me
the
out.
app.
Reach out. Do let me know.
Yeah, and if you want to let us know what you thought, Gethin, what you think of the book or what you think of this, then please feel free to contact us. So,
and if you do buy it or you've had a copy of it, if you could leave a review on Amazon, that would be splendid.
Yeah, right. Thanks very much, Gethin.
Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.